Okay, I'm right to go now. We had a bad false start then. That will have to go on the blooper tape, I'm afraid. We had some mix-ups with the files there, and pleased to say I'm on holidays. This is a good feeling. I've finished. I've closed the book. So I've got 2.5 weeks where I can just not be in this booth. We'll keep the missions going, but I think it'll be about the only thing I do in here, because I want to be outside. I want to be in the sunshine, and this is a bit of a dark squalor in here. This is vk3sl, and welcome to the test missions on 160 metres, the afternoon Corona missions, whereby we explore the vaults and come up with all sorts of mixed up madness. I hear extra fans. I wonder what's going on. They're not my fans. They are cooling fans. Something is making a fair bit of noise up the other end. I'll have to investigate. Never to mind. Well, I think we'll have a break from dance band music. I always play a lot of dance band music. I do like that sort of thing, but I also need a break. We have to have some variety here, and something that turned up today is an incredible recording of Joan Sutherland. She sings an E-flat where time stands still. It's incredible. Listen, it's about 2 minutes into the aria. In fact, it's a duet. She's with the tenor John Alexander, and it's a studio recording made in the early 60s with Mr. Bonning and the LSO and chorus, and it's from Norma. I was reading about Norma, actually. That's why I was distracted. I was quite compelled reading the story, but it's a complicated opera, and I can't give an easy context to this. But anyhow, she's Norma, and he's Polone, and the name of the aria is, where are we? Looking for it here. Qui mi pasco ne tori sguardi. Already I take pleasure in the looks you give me. Well, it's all about betrayal and death, and I think he is about to stab himself, and I think that she's getting involved. I'm not quite sure of exactly the context here, but the music is dramatic, and we don't really need the storyline when you're hearing singing of this amplitude. vk3sl testing on 160. Well, there we go. I'm still mucking around with this, and we still haven't quite got it right. We'll get this file back to the beginning and take 2. Oh, goodness me. Hi, Fitz's Flying Spiccato is from another universe. It's incredible. And the recording before that, I had to stop. I would have been caught out. I would have been continuously waxing lyrical for the entire duration of that last piece, and I had to put the hyphens on to stop myself. That recording of Joan Sutherland is something else. That's all I'll say. It is something else. Incredible. It is absolutely extraordinary. That high E flat had a physiological effect on me. I levitated. I was having an out-of-body experience. Incredible. Joan Sutherland. And then Jascha Heifetz. Well, folks, I'm being ushered out to have a game of table tennis with Mr. William. I'm on call. So I'll have the wireless on down in the table tennis area, and I'll be listening to an episode of D24. And just a word that after D24, I'm going to continue to mine the crossband archive, and I've got something rather unusual. vk3sl testing.
The Victoria Police Force presents D24. From the files of the Victoria Police, for the first time come these true stories of unceasing war against crime, of day and night vigilance that protects our life and our property, and of the nerve center of the Police Information Bureau, D24.
Now, you can't struggle anymore, can you? It's nearly over now. Just a little longer, and you'll never breathe again.
This is the true story of the Strangler. This is a true story from the files of the Victoria Police. Only names, place names, and dates have been altered. Quite recently, we received a letter from a mother. In her letter, she said this.
I think you would have a large children's audience. I wish you could have a D24 on these men that entice little girls away. We have one around our district which is causing a lot of concern. If D24 had a case on their files, I'm sure the children would understand.
We can assure this mother that the police are giving that case all possible attention. But to meet her request, we asked the police for a story that might help children to understand why they should never talk to strangers, and never go anywhere with strangers, even if they offer money or sweets. Never go anywhere with strangers. Before we begin, let me just say this. We hope that this story will not awaken sad memories in the minds of any relatives or friends of the people concerned. Naturally, we don't wish to do that. And we feel sure that everyone will understand that we tell this story only because it may prevent a repetition of the tragedy and heartache that was so cruelly inflicted on so many homes and families. This is the story of 4 young girls, whom we shall call Mary, Phyllis, Catherine, and Brenda. Today, these girls should be healthy, happy young women, but all of them are dead. The first little girl was Mary. She was 9 years old and lived at Caulfield. And one afternoon after school, she was playing happily with some of her friends.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming, ready or not?
Hello, little girl.
Oh,
What are you doing?
playing Heidi. I'm he.
Huh? How do you play that?
Don't you know how to
to play Heidi?
No, I don't. Tell me about it, will you?
Oh, I can't. I've got to find the others. They're hiding from me.
Why?
'Cause that's the game. I shut my eyes and they all hide while I count to 10.
That sounds a nice game.
Yes, it's fun.
Can I play too?
No, grown-ups don't play Heidi.
Why not?
'Cause they don't, that's all. Oh, I'll have to find the others now. Goodbye.
Can I watch?
I suppose so.
All right. I'll see you when you find them.
Oh, gosh. Oh, did you see me find them all?
Yes, I did. You're very clever at Heidi, aren't you?
Oh, it's easy.
What do you do now?
Well, Jennifer's here now. She has to close her eyes and count to 10 while we all hide.
Wouldn't you rather have some lollies?
Have you got some lollies?
No, but I know I can get some.
At Mrs. Bennett's shop.
I know somewhere better than that.
Where?
You come with me and I'll show you.
Will there be enough lollies for the other kids too?
Yes, of course there will.
Oh, well, I better tell my little sister first.
What are you going to tell her?
That we're going to buy some lollies.
All right. But be quick, won't you?
Yes!
And I'll wait for you here.
And so, while the other little girls went on with the game, Mary accompanied the man in search of lollies. She was a friendly child and saw nothing wrong in what she was doing. Nor did she see anything wrong in riding on a tram with the man. And finally, in going into an empty house with him. She was too young to know. But half an hour later, Mary was dead. Mary died because she was too trusting. Because in her natural love for lollies, she forgot what her parents had often told her. Never speak to strange men. Never, never go anywhere with them. Then there was Phyllis. Phyllis was 16, just beginning to take an interest in life. One night, just 2 months after the dreadful murder of Mary, Phyllis was walking along a street near her home in Hawkesburn.
Excuse me.
Hey?
Do you know where Johnson Street is?
No, sorry.
Hey, just a minute.
I'm in a hurry.
Look, I won't keep you a minute.
All right, what is it?
I don't know this part too well, and I've got to find Johnson Street.
I told you. I don't know where it is.
Don't you live around here?
What if I do?
Oh, it's just that I thought you'd know the streets.
Are you sure it's Johnson Street?
Pretty sure of it.
Well, I don't know it.
Ah. Oh, well, it can't be helped. Have a cigarette?
What's the big idea?
Just thought you might like one, that's all.
You're a funny sort.
No, I'm not. Just a bit lonely.
Haven't you got any friends?
Not many. Are you really in a hurry? Or did you just say that?
I just said it.
Oh. Have a cigarette and talk to me for a while, will you?
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Phyllis. What's yours?
Bert. Do you like dancing?
Love it.
Would you come to a dance with me if I asked you?
You've got a nerve, haven't you?
Oh, I don't think so. I like the look of you, though.
Thanks.
I'm not really such a bad type, you know.
That's what you say.
Oh, I'm not. So, what about that dance?
You mean right now? Oh, don't be silly.
Well, tomorrow night then.
Oh, I don't go dancing with anyone.
But we know each other now.
Do we?
Oh, cut it out, Phyllis. Give a man a go.
You're a trier, I'll say that much for you.
And what about it?
Oh, I'll sleep on it. Call me up tomorrow. Night, Bert.
Hey, wait a bit. Where do I get you?
You don't.
Oh, fair go. You can't do this to me.
No? You watch me.
Just a minute.
Oh, don't you dare touch me.
Yes, I will.
Oh, go out.
If you do, I'll pretty soon fix you.
No.
You've led me on, you have. You made me believe it.
I made you believe nothing.
Yes, you did. I thought you'd come dancing with me.
Rather die first.
Would you?
No. No, I didn't mean that.
What did you mean then?
Nothing.
No?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, wait, will you leave me alone?
No. You're gonna be my girl.
No.
Yes, you are. Come here.
No. Get out. No.
What's the use of struggling? I'm too strong for you.
Let me go.
I'm never gonna let you go. Never.
Your hands. My throat.
I'll never let you go. Now, you can't struggle anymore, can you? It's nearly over now. Just a little longer. It'll be over.
16-year-old Phyllis had made the mistake of stopping to talk to a strange man at night. She was not to know that he was a vicious killer, that he'd already killed once, and that she was to be only the second of his 4 victims. Phyllis's body was found the next morning, a few yards from where the murderer had relentlessly pressed his fingers against her throat. And then there was Catherine. 12 years old Catherine, who lived in the country. It was exactly midnight on the 31st of December, 1934.
Oh, it's 12 o'clock. Happy New Year, everyone. And an especially Happy New Year to you, Dad.
Happy New Year, darling.
This is a test transmission.
Come on, everyone.
vk3sl.
Old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot in the days of old lang syne.
Oh, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year.
Mummy!
Catherine, what are you doing up at this time of night?
I wanted to say Happy New Year to you and Daddy.
And I thought you were sound asleep.
You're not cross with me for getting up, are you, Mummy?
No, of course I'm not. A very, very Happy New Year to you, my darling.
Oh, Happy New Year, Mummy. Happy New Year, Daddy.
Happy New Year, Kathy.
And now you'd better hurry back to bed, darling.
Oh, Mummy.
You don't want to be tired for the picnic at Mornington tomorrow, do you?
Oh, I won't be tired.
Yes, you will if you don't hurry. You've got a long day in front of you.
Oh, it'll be fun tomorrow, won't it?
I'm sure you'll have a lovely time, darling. There'll be games and races.
Well, I'm not going to have any breakfast tomorrow, so I'll have room for thousands of ice creams.
Oh, you and your ice creams. But you won't enjoy yourself if you're tired. So run back to bed, my pet.
Will you come and tuck me in, Mummy?
Yes, dear, in a few minutes.
What time do I have to get up?
At 7 o'clock, because Mr. and Mrs. Fleming will be here to pick you up at 8 sharp.
And so 12 years old Catherine went gaily back to bed to dream of the New Year's Day picnic. In a few moments, we'll continue this true story from the files of the Victoria Police. This is a true story from the files of the Victoria Police. Only names, place names, and dates have been altered. At 8 o'clock sharp on New Year's Day, 12 years old Catherine was picked up in a car by Mr. and Mrs. Fleming and their 3 children, Frank, Arthur, and Nancy. It was a gay party that drove to Mornington, and when they arrived there, they had a wonderful time. A picnic lunch among the tea tree, swimming in the calm waters of the bay, and joining in the beach sports and games. And then at about 4:30...
Now, boys and girls, the next event is the Greasy Barrel. Will all those who want to enter please give their names to the stewards? Come on, boys and girls, there's lots of fun and wonderful prizes. So let's have your names for the Greasy Barrel event. Come on, boys and girls, the Greasy Barrel event.
Are we going to watch the Greasy Barrel, Nancy?
I don't want him much. I'd rather buy another ice cream.
Oh, me too. Have you got any money left?
Not much. Have you?
10 pence?
I've got a shilling, I think.
Oh, that's enough. Come on then, let's go round to the shop.
Gosh, look at all that crowd in the shop.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's go in.
All right.
Oh, we'll never get served.
No.
I tell you what, you go down that end of the counter and I'll go this end. We'll have a race to see who gets served first.
I bet I'll win.
I'll bet I do.
All right. I'll see you at the door.
All right then.
I knew I'd get here first. Oh, hello, Mummy.
Where's Catherine, dear?
In the shop buying an ice cream. Look, they're big ones, aren't they?
I hope you girls aren't eating too many of them.
Oh, Mummy, we've only had about 6 each all day.
6? Then that must be the last. What will Catherine's mother say if I take her home with a bilious attack?
She told me she had 10 ice creams one day.
Well, she's not having 10 today, and neither are you.
All right, Mummy.
So as soon as Catherine comes out of the shop, both of you hurry back to the car.
Where are you going?
To get some milk. I'll expect to see both of you at the car in about 10 minutes. Nancy, wherever have you been? It's over half an hour since I spoke to you at the sweet shop. And where's Catherine?
I've been waiting for her outside the shop. I thought she must have come back here by now. Isn't she here?
No, she's not. I do wish she'd hurry. It's nearly time for tea. You'd better see if you can find her, dear.
All right, Mummy.
And when you do, don't dawdle back. Tea will be all ready. Are you sure you looked everywhere, Nancy?
Yes, Mummy, and I couldn't see a sign of her.
Oh, dear. This is really too bad.
Yeah. What's the trouble, Frida?
It's Catherine, Dad. She got separated from Nancy, and she hasn't come back for tea.
Oh, she'll turn up all right.
I do hope nothing's happened to her.
Well, what could happen with all these people around?
Oh, I don't know, but I just feel worried, that's all. Do see if you can find her, will you? Take Nancy with you.
All right, but stop worrying. Come on, Nancy. Let's get Arthur and Frank, and we'll have Catherine back in no time.
But Catherine was nowhere to be found. And as the sun went down, it became obvious that something serious had happened to Catherine. The Flemings summoned police assistance, and Senior Constable Stevens called for volunteer searches.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt your dancing, but a little girl has been lost. I'm calling for volunteers to help us in our search.
Church bells, too, rang out their peals for help. But Catherine had disappeared. Throughout the night and into the dawn, the search went on. Then at about 9:30 in the morning, a party of searchers was making its way through the scrub.
You and Frank go along that track, Bill. We'll go along here. Hey, look at that.
Huh?
Lying there near the track. It's the little girl. Yes. And she's been murdered.
Yes, Catherine was dead. As in the cases of Mary and Phyllis, the police did everything possible to trace the murderer, but he'd left no clues. There was a similarity between the deaths of the three girls that suggested one man was responsible for them all. But this was not to be proved until nearly a year later. And before that, another little girl had to die. 7-year-old Brenda. It was Sunday afternoon, and Brenda had been playing with her young friends. But now she was alone, walking along the footpath, when she saw a familiar figure riding towards her on a bicycle.
Hello, Brenda.
Hello.
Where are you going?
Nowhere special. Who are you?
Just riding around. Would you like a ride?
Oh, yes, please.
All right. Up on the bar.
Thank you.
That's the idea. Now, where'd you like to go?
I don't care.
You don't, eh?
No.
All right. We'll go down this way. Phew. That was a good ride, wasn't it?
Yes, good-o. But I'd better go home now.
You can walk home from here, can't you?
I suppose so. Thank you for the ride. Goodbye.
Brenda,
Yes?
just a minute. I want you.
What do you want? Why are you looking so funny? What's the matter with you? Mummy! Mummy!
Shut up! I've got to do it. I can't help myself. I've got to do it.
And so those powerful hands claimed yet another victim, 7-year-old Brenda. But this time the murderer decided he should have an alibi, and so he called at a dairy farm.
Good day, Tom.
How you going, Bert? What brings you around here?
I just wondering if you had a copy of yesterday's paper.
Don't think so. I'll have a look.
As a matter of fact, I've been waiting for you for a quarter of an hour.
Why didn't you come down to the milking sheds?
Thought you must be out.
But you know I'm always milking at this time.
Must have forgotten.
Well, that's not like you.
Well, I did, that's all.
Okay. Oh, I'm not trying to pick a fight.
Well, have you got a paper or haven't you?
Come inside and I'll have a look.
And so, with his story of waiting quarter of an hour, the man Bert believed he'd established an alibi. It was not until the next morning that Brenda was found. The discovery of her body caused a sensation.
This is a test transmission from
And although
vk3sl.
Constable Wilkinson, who hurried to investigate, could find no clues, his inquiries brought out some useful information.
I saw a man dinking a girl that looked like Brenda on his bicycle.
I saw Brenda talking to a man who had a black bicycle.
I saw Bert Stanfield riding a black bicycle down near the playground.
I saw Bert Stanfield riding along with a queer look on his face.
A black bicycle.
The man had a girl with him.
Bert Stanfield.
Bert Stanfield.
Bert Stanfield.
Meanwhile, detectives from Melbourne drove quickly to the scene of the crime, and after hearing the constable's report, brought Bert Stanfield in for questioning.
We're making inquiries into the death of Brenda Parr, Bert. Will you tell us what you were doing on Sunday evening?
What part of Sunday evening?
Oh, from about 5 o'clock onwards.
Let me think now. Well, about 5 o'clock, I was talking to a mate outside the pub.
And what's your mate's name?
Bill Thomas.
Yes. And how long were you talking to him?
A fair while. After I left him, I went straight home for tea.
At what time?
About 6.
Did you stay home for the rest of the night?
No. About 7 o'clock, I took my bike and rode over to Burke's place. They weren't home.
How do you know?
Well, I knocked, of course.
What if the Burkes say they were home all the evening?
Couldn't have been.
Constable Wilkinson tells me they were.
Then they couldn't have heard me knock.
All right. What did you do when you decided the Burkes weren't at home?
Rode around to Tom Forbes' place.
What time did you get there?
About 10 past 7.
10 past.
Yeah. But I didn't see Tom till about 25 past.
Oh? Why not?
He wasn't in at first. At least I thought he wasn't. But after I'd waited a while, he came up from the milking shed.
You're sure of the time, are you?
Yes, I am.
Bert, Constable Wilkinson had a talk to Tom Forbes.
Well?
Forbes said he didn't finish milking until 5 to 8.
He's wrong. It was 25 past 7.
Forbes says he takes almost exactly the same time over his milking, and he always glances at the kitchen clock when he gets back to the house.
It was 25 past 7.
Let me have a look at your watch, Bert.
I haven't got one.
Oh? Is it broken?
I never use one.
Then how are you so sure of the times of your movements on Sunday?
I am, that's all.
But I'm not satisfied with your explanation of your movements between 7 o'clock and 5 to 8.
I've told you the lot.
Several people say they saw you riding near the playground at about 7:15.
I wasn't near the playground at all on Sunday.
And at about the same time, a man answering your description and riding a bicycle the same color as yours was seen in Benson Street.
I wasn't in Benson Street either.
That's all you've got to say?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Bert. But your story of going to the Burkes and thinking they were out when they were all home, and then going to Tom Forbes' place half an hour earlier than he says you were there, and your denial of riding near the playground when several witnesses say they saw you, just doesn't add up. Don't you realize that?
What do you want me to say?
I'm asking you if you know anything about the death of Brenda Parr.
Not much use telling any more lies, is it? All right. I do know about it. All about it. I killed her. And now you know that, you may as well know about the others.
The others?
Yeah. 3 of them. Mary Roberts, Phyllis Burton, and Catherine Long. I killed them all.
Bert Stanfield had killed once too often. He was eventually found guilty of murder and hanged at Pentridge Jail. But his hanging can never make up for the sorrow he brought to 4 homes, can never bring back to life 4 girls who should be living today. We can only hope that every child who's listened to this story will learn a lesson from it and will remember never, never to speak to strange men, never to go anywhere with them, whatever money or sweets or promises they offer. The risk is far too great. And even if you do know the man who asks you to go somewhere with him, as poor little Brenda Parr did, always ask your parents' permission first. Only then can you be sure you're safe. And finally, may I once again remind everyone everywhere to always cooperate with your police force whenever and wherever possible. Report anything even slightly suspicious immediately. Only names, place names, and dates were altered in this true story. It was dramatized from the files of the Victoria Police by Roland Strong, who now says goodbye until the same time next week, when there'll be another true story in this series, D24, which is brought to you by the Victoria Police Force and produced in the studios of Hector Crawford Productions by Dorothy Crawford.
Oh, that was absolutely harrowing. Oh, God. They're getting worse. Yeah. I was trying to find out the source of that, see if I could work out what was, if it could be referenced. But evidently, either they made it up or maybe it's too obtuse. Obviously, they don't give the real names or places, but mass murders in Melbourne in the 30s. Couldn't find any direct evidence in the on the online resources. Pretty awful stuff. Okay, we need to lift spirits. Sometimes these T24s can be an absolute downer. Oh, let's see what else we got. From the C-band archives, we have some ABC acetates. I think these were found under shelves and behind racks and sort of materialised in untoward places, but and they're in varying conditions. But let's have a listen to this for the next 20 minutes. vk3sl testing.
Of about 33,000 bales. To end the news, here are the main points again. Hundreds of people reported to have been detained in Laos as the pro-communist Pathet Lao begins a cultural revolution. Peking Radio says demonstrations last week in support of the former Chinese Vice Premier, Mr. Deng Xiaoping, claimed one life in...
Well, this next number is designed to create a romantic atmosphere. It's been used in many films, and in fact, violinists in candlelit cafes throughout the world find it a great favourite. Here's Marchetti's Fascination.
I wonder how many of you remember Susan Hayward and Dana Andrews in that wonderful film, My Foolish Heart. It brings back very vivid memories to me. And now, finally, a song which should be a final song. It's called To the Ends of the Earth. To the end of the earth.
Next comes the newest work in this program, the second Mallarmé improvisation of Pierre Boulez. Boulez, who is 35 years old, is one of the most prominent musical figures of today. Significantly, he has won the admiration of another, earlier innovator, Igor Stravinsky. Boulez, who studied in Paris with Olivier Messiaen, uses an advanced form of serial technique, in which not only the notes, but other elements such as timbre, dynamics, nuance, as well as rhythms, are organized in series. Now, improvisation, of course, introduces an indeterminate element into music, and the very title of this work suggests a compromise between a rigid system of composition and spontaneous musical creation. In this improvisation, Boulez embeds the singing of an abstruse sonnet by the French symbolist Mallarmé within an exotic texture provided by 9 instrumentalists who play harp, bells, vibraphone, piano, celesta, and a great variety of percussion instruments. The effect is quite oriental. The poem, Une dentelle sabolie, which is sung by a soprano voice, springs from the poet's contemplation of a pair of lace curtains slightly parted before a window. Dorothy Dorrow is the singer in this performance of Pierre Boulez's improvisation on Mallarmé No. 2 by the New Music Ensemble, conductor John Carew.
The Critics, with Chairman Reg Neal.
This
The prince
is a test
and the
transmission
showgirl,
from
the author and the newspaper seller,
vk3sl.
they could all end up in the one program in our People on Radio, 1:15 on Wednesdays on the First Network. It's in the afternoon, so stay awake. When a whole lot of people get together, well, anything can happen, and if it looks like being a bit of a fizz, then I'm there to stir things along a bit. This is Bob Sanders, and I talk to people from all walks of life on the new radio program, People on Radio, Wednesdays at 1:15 on the First Network. A whole lot of people get together. That's the start of it, you see. And then, well, anything can happen. And if things do look like being something of a fizz, then I'm there to stir things along a bit. This is Bob Sanders. I've been talking to people on television for a long time, and now it's radio for us. 1:15 on the First Network on the ABC, People on Radio, Wednesdays. If you want to hear people in the news actually reporting about what they've seen and done, mixed into a program of chat with famous people and argument about topical matters, and if I work hard enough, and if we're lucky, well, we might get all these ingredients together into a program called People on Radio, Wednesdays at 1:15 on the First Network. By the way, this is Bob Sanders, and I hope to join you on radio. I don't really mean to shock you, but it's London to a brick, as they say, that you're going to be shocked sometime if you listen to the radio program People on Radio. It's coming on at 1:15 on Wednesdays on the First Network on the ABC. And the reason I talk about being shocked, well, people are pretty shocking sometimes, and we report the truth on this program. So I hope you can join me, Bob Sanders, on People on Radio on Wednesdays. For 10 years now, I've been asked by people, where do you find the people you put on television? And now I suppose I'm going to be asked by people, where do you find the people you put on radio? Because we're starting a new radio program called People on Radio. This is Bob Sanders. I'll be talking to them on the radio and on the television, and you might be one of them. But anyway, I hope you can join us 1:15 Wednesdays on the First Network.
John, what were your main impressions of the 1952 Olympic Games in Helsinki?
Well, I would say the thing that impressed me most was the efficiency with which the Finns ran the games. They put on an excellent spectacle, which was a first-class show from the point of view of the spectator and the pressman and the athlete alike. I think everybody felt that after the games that they had never competed or witnessed a greater sporting spectacle.
Did you find the atmosphere very different to other athletic meetings?
Yes, the atmosphere is very tense from the competitor's point of view, very interesting from the spectator's point of view. Every heat, every semi-final is very, very closely contested. In fact, a heat may very well be the hardest race you'll ever run. You've got to qualify, and they're very cutthroat, fierce competition, and you can't afford to be dallying at any stage.
Well, John, have you decided to concentrate on any particular events at the Melbourne Games?
Yes, I would like to run both the 5,000 metres and the 1,500 metres. The difficulty is whether I could undertake both of these races. Each of the races has a heat, and so it would involve running a total of 4 races in about 5 days. This, of course, can be done. It depends on the speed with which you run the 4 races, and also, of course, your own physical condition. My problem, of course, will be to decide whether I'm capable of doing justice to myself in both events under these circumstances. My decision will be made after our Olympic trials here on October the 13th and the 20th, when I will run both. If I run well on both occasions and am able to come up on the second occasion feeling fit and strong, well then I'll be tempted to try and run both. That's of course if I qualify for both. I mean, conditions even out here of competition are such that it would be quite possible for me to fail to qualify in either of those events for our own team. But if I don't, well then I'll select the better of those 2 events. The event in which I show out best, well I'll run that only.
Well, who do you consider will be your most formidable rivals in those races?
Well, it's a matter of rivals rather than rival because it's a number of runners in each event. I would think that there are 8 or 9 men in both the 1,500 and the 5,000 metres who would have an excellent chance of winning. There are another half dozen or so whose names are more obscure, perhaps less well known, but who also must be given a chance because outsiders have a habit of winning Olympic titles. In the 1,500 metres in Helsinki in 1952, a fellow from Luxembourg by the name of Josie Bartel won the event. and yet the most optimistic of his supporters could hardly have expected him to gain a place, and yet he was able not only to win the event but to create an Olympic record and to remain unbeaten in about 10 more races that season. This has happened before and it's likely to happen again. In the 1500 metres, on present form, the runners with the best chances are Delaney of Ireland, Nielsen of Denmark, Rossavogli and Tabori of Hungary, Hewson and Wood of England, and Bailey of Australia, Lincoln perhaps of Australia, and also the runner. And in the 5,000 metres, the runners with the best chance are mainly Europeans and Englishmen. The Englishmen have 3 very fine runners in Pirrie, Ibbotson and Chataway, all 3 of which could possibly fill the places. And then the Hungarian Harris and the New Zealander Bailey and perhaps Holberg too. And then there's Stevens and the Russian Kutz. They must all be given excellent chances of winning that event. I would hope to have some hope myself, of course, as well.
Are you ready? And there is the gun, and the head of the river race for 1951 is underway, and I'm happy to report a very excellent start was effected. This is a matter of great congratulations. It is very fine for sportsmen of any athletic prowess to have the advantage of an excellent start as these crews were given here this afternoon. And with the flurry and the scurry of the early high rate of striking, I notice now that Scotch College have gone out in the first 100 yards to a lead of approximately a quarter of a length over Wesley College, and Wesley College and Xavier are rowing neck and neck together. The crews have travelled about 150 yards. 100 crews have travelled about 100 crews have travelled about 100 crews have travelled, and the Scots are maintaining that advantage. Wesley are forging up to them. Xavier at the moment are dropping a little back. The rate of stroking has now settled stroking. Given by these division of rowing has been given by these division of rowing has been given by these crews. Particularly competitors are getting the distance up to the head of the field, to the distance up to the quarter-mile post. Wesley College and Grimley College a mile length behind them, to a half a length behind them in second position, quarters of a length. May go ahead of me. The excellence ahead of me. A lot depends on the afternoon. A lot depends on the approach to the rudder. Any excess use of the rudder. Congratulating others. And now maintained that lead. There are good lengths, I would say now, out of my range of vision. They're now further back, and a quarter of a length further back. And as they are now passing out of my range of vision, Harold Bells in the centre position will give you Harold Bells in the of what is, and so I'll pass over. You have
a half mile here is freshened up. A half mile here is in themselves. They're in themselves. Their hands, their blade work, their leg drive and their body work is an example of nice. As I have a length ahead of their, which now have quickened up, and have set out to chase Scotch. Xavier would be about 2.5 lengths further behind the leaders, and at the moment, as they pass up towards the end of the last quintage, and answer the challenge that Wesley threw out, and have gone further ahead. They're now entering on the last quarter of a mile, and Scotch undoubtedly have a winning advantage at this stage. As a matter of fact, it could very well be said that barring accidents, Scotch are now the winners. They're easily the best Scotch College crew that I've seen since the war, and probably one of the best in the last 20 years. Now, as they're approaching the finish, I think that it's Basil Coningsby's turn to take over. Can you take it, Basil?
Thank you, Harold.
And now as the crews race about 400 yards from the finish, Scots College run with great confidence and dash are running along, as Harold has already told you, look all over winners. But Wesley College are not to be denied, and here on the North Bank are putting in a great challenge to Scots. They have outdistanced Xavier, who've dropped right out of the calculations altogether. Now Scots racing on with about 300 yards to go, striking about 35, 36 strokes per minute, and the water being a little bit dirty, they're clearing it in excellent style, showing good watermanship. And Wesley striking about 35, going after Scots, are about a length and a quarter behind, but putting in a determined finish, but I'm afraid there isn't enough space left way, 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 there isn't enough space left past finishing Scots. Scots are giving a grand exhibition of rowing, and they're coming right away now as they near the winning post, about 150 yards to go. They're almost 2 lengths ahead of the very tired Wesley crew, who are starting to lose some of their form. Xavier College is about another 2 lengths and a half further behind Wesley College. And rowing with great confidence, Scots go over the line about 2 lengths from Wesley College, who are about another 2.5 lengths ahead of Xavier College. That was
First to get away was Whittaker, closely followed by Baldwin and Alden. Hammond is in the picture, and with about 50 yards to go, it's anybody's race. Arnold fighting on, and we find Baldwin will go on, and I think he will beat Arnold or Chris Lambert. That would be the placing. Well, this boy has won it. The second lad in succession from Broken Hill, and he was confident, as he told you, that he'd run it through, and I think he was a popular selection. Well, his trainer has gone round to him, and they're hugging him. It's not often done on the Bendigo track, and we feel that he's coming to the microphone straight away. Mr. Albert Matthews is bringing him here. Well, it's a great victory, and here he comes in great style. Well, thank you, Albert, for bringing the young man across. We'll just wait for the moment while he gets a breath or two, and he's receiving congratulations from everyone. His photograph being taken, and you know, when we brought him to the microphone after he won the semi-final, he did feel very confident that he'd come through and win. Well, he lived up to it, the redhead. They all do that. Well, Sam, it's a great moment for you. Congratulations from all of us and all sportsmen in Australia, and how they'll be cheering in Broken Hill this afternoon. Well, what would you like to say? I'm going to...
Not much to say then.
Well, when did you seriously start to set yourself for this race?
5 years ago.
And how old were you then? Who took you in hand?
Mr. Ellis.
And you'd like to pay a tribute to your trainer?
Yeah, could I get him to say a few words?
We're going to get him in a second. I'm going to ask you, did you feel confident success from the time the handicaps came out?
Oh, yes.
Had you had a run-up with J.A. Can, the one that saw good last year? Oh, you hadn't in any way at all?
No.
Well, have you had any other important successes?
No, only ones. 3 small ones in 9. About 4 years ago.
And, son, regarding diet, have you any set plan?
No diet at all. Just eat normally and dry out, that's all.
Well, when did you have a meal today, your last meal?
At 11 o'clock.
And what did you have?
Grilled steak.
Well, there you are. Now, no doubt you'll run at school at Easter?
Yes, I'll be there.
And no special training methods from Miss Ellis?
No special.
Well, would you like to say a word to the mother Brogan Hill? Would you like to say a word to the mother Brogan Hill? Would you like to say a word to the mother Brogan Hill? Would you like to say a word to the mother Brogan Hill?
Hello, Brogan Hill. Hey, Mum. Hey, Dad. And 7 brothers. How are you?
Well, all the very best. Thank you kindly indeed. And where's Mr. Ellis? Is he here? Mr. Ellis there? I think the young fella's broken down. It's been a very stirring moment for him. And he's really upset at his success. But it was we wish that. But it was we wish that he's really upset at his success. 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 Him the very best, and him the very best, and him for him. And he defeated. And to the lads, have your turn, and may you have your turn, and may you have your turn, and may you have your turn. As we told you. Bill, well, that's nice. What do you think of that boy? He's a lovely lad, isn't he?
Well, he's a very good run as far as I'm concerned now.
And when did you know that he could run?
Oh, 5 years ago.
And how have you put him through it all the time?
Well, he's just
Time.
jogging and long work early, fogging and long plenty of run-throughs.
And how did you pick him to be a good runner?
I just seen him as a schoolboy, practically just left
And
school.
you've had him ever since?
He was 17 since he's 17.
Clean living lad, isn't he? I thought he looked most confident when he came down with the other finalists to run through there.
He had the race won before he went out.
And how did he settle himself over the weekend? It wasn't too big for him or anything? Was he all right?
It never worried him. We left home Saturday singing, we left home today singing.
Well, you'll still be singing when you get back. Good luck, Ed, and may you train many more winners.
Cheerio to Brogan. Cheerio to Brogan Hill, to Kate, John, all the boys in the boiler shop and North Brogan Hill staff, Mr. and Mrs. Borland. Thank you. Thank you.
You can give the full place in some time. Well, when did you have
11 o'clock.
And what Mother Brogan? Would you like to say a word to the Mother Brogan?
Dad.
Mr. Ellis, is he here?
And 7 brothers, how are you?
Well, all the very best. Thank you kindly indeed. And where's Mr. Ellis? Is he here? Mr. Ellis there? I think the young fella's broken down. He's been a very stirring, and a moment for him. And he's really upset that he's him the very best. And to the lads that he defeated, we say good luck. We'll have your turn. And may you have a winner very soon. Now the winner, as we told you. Well, Bill, well, that's nice. What do you think of that, boys? And when did you know that he could run?
It was the ABC and the Boredom. From way back, early 1950s, I think. But look, it's all about the vernacular. It's the way they spoke. It's the sound of the times. It's the signature of the times. It's the syntax. It's the whole aura. It's the room ambience. It's all those extra environmental aspects that interest me. So it doesn't matter if the content's boring. It is completely fascinating on a different level. So there we have some old ABC acetates, care of Mr. Stew, and what we'll do next is wind up with something a little bit more sprightly, and I'm still recoiling after that D24. What we'll hear is some Eartha Kitt. This is vk3sl testing on 160.
Sous les ponts de Paris, lorsque descend la nuit, toutes sortes de gueux se foulevillent en cachette et sont heureux de trouver une cochette au hôtel du Curandeur, où l'on ne paye pas cher. Le peu fin et l'eau, c'est pour rien, mon marquis, sous les ponts de Paris, sur les ponts de Paris. Quel rendez-vous! My darling, why I sing this song is easy to explain. It tells what happens all along the bridges of the Seine. The vagabonds go there at night to sleep all their troubles away. But when the moon is shining bright, my heart wants to sing it this way. How would you like to be down by the Seine with me? Oh, what I'd give for a moment or two under the bridges of Paris with you. Darling, I'd hold you tight, far from the eyes of night. Under the bridges of Paris with you, I'd make your dreams come true. Chérie, je veux apporter mes bras. Je veux apporter mon cœur. Je veux apporter all my love. Sur le pont de Paris, lorsque descend la nuit, under the bridges of Paris with you, I'd make your dreams come true. I'd make your dreams come true. Birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. In Spain the best upper sets do it, Lithuanians, and let's do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. The Dutch in old Amsterdam do it, not to mention the Finns. Folks in Siam do it. Think of Siamese twins, some Argentines without means do it. People say in Boston beans do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Romantic sponges, they say, do it. Oysters down in Oyster Bay do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Cold Cape Cod clams against their wish do it. Even lazy jellyfish do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Electric eels, I might add, do it. Though it shocks 'em, I know. Why ask if shall do it? Waiter, bring me shad roe in shallow shoals. English souls do it. Goldfish in the privacy of bowls do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. Let's. The blues ain't nothing. The blues ain't nothing but a cold gray day, and all night long it stays that way. Ain't nothing to leave you alone. Ain't nothing you'd want to call your own. Ain't something with sense enough to get up and go. Ain't nothing like nothing I know. The blues don't know. The blues don't know, nobody has come back again. Low, ugly, mean blue. The blues ain't nothing but you'd sing and rhyme. The blues ain't nothing but a dark cloud marching time. The blues is the one-way ticket from your love to nowhere. The blues ain't nothing but a dark gray veil ready to feels most like the blues ain't nothing. The blues ain't I used to fall in love with all those boys who mauled the young cuties. But now I find I'm more inclined to keep my mind on my duties while tearing off a game of golf. I may make a play for the caddy, but when I do, I don't follow through, 'cause my heart belongs to Daddy. If I invite a boy some night to dine on my fine fin and Hattie, I just adore his asking for more, but my heart belongs to Daddy. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy, so I simply couldn't be bad. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy. Da 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 da. So I want to warn you, laddie, though I know you're perfectly swell, that my heart belongs to Daddy, 'cause my Daddy, he treats it so well. There was a dame that a football game made long for the strong and the gratty. I never dream of making the team, 'cause my heart belongs to Daddy. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy, so I simply couldn't be bad. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy. Da 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 da. So I want to warn you, laddie, though I know you're perfectly swell, that my heart belongs to Daddy, 'cause my Daddy, he treats it so well, so well.
who's been listening to the music of Eartha Kitt. This is vk3sl Test Missions on 160. And I think we'll wind up at this point. I don't think there's time for anything else. Lots of stuff happening here. And for those who are familiar with the late night Friday missions, and this is not for anyone listening on air, incidentally, so block your ears if you're on air, listening on air, but on the stream, here's a secret for you. Tonight on the ABC, EO, who's my niece, is going to be featuring on a game show, apparently. I don't watch free-to-air TV, but I will tonight for the first time for a long time to see EO strut her stuff. So I commend that. VK3SL, until next time.